This week I want to reflect back on Netanyahu's visit, which was a fantastic opportunity for the Jewish community to shine here in Australia, as well as for Australians as a whole to have a little bit of a glimpse over what we're really talking about over in the Middle East. And of course, Turnbull's article, which coincided with Netanyahu's arrival, supporting Israel against the innocuous behaviour of the UN, was met with some considerable disdain by two particular former Labour Prime Ministers who are really seeking their party's approval for a Palestinian state.
I ask both former Prime Ministers to ask a simple question: what kind of state will it be that they're advocating? A state that calls for Israel's destruction? A state whose territory will be used immediately for radical Islam?
Mr Turnbull is navigating apparent differences between US Middle East policy and Australia's official position, while President Trump told Mr Netanyahu last week that he's comfortable with a so-called one-state solution in which Palestinians would live in an Israeli state. Australia advocates a two-state solution.
So, sorry, ABC, was that actually what was said? Did Trump actually say he wants a one-state solution?
So I'm looking at two-state and one-state, and I like the one that both parties like.
And of course, the far left have been busy poisoning the minds of Australians against the Israeli Prime Minister. So Australia does have an important role to play here, even if it is just discussing the facts and getting the facts right. But seeing posters like this up in McKinnon, where I live, almost bang opposite a synagogue, does give me some cause for, well, concern, I guess, because the facts have to be truthful. And it is actually often the media that distort the facts. This week I found a far-right politician from Israel on Arab television, Al Jazeera, knocking heads with an Arab journalist.
If you had been born a Palestinian and seen your land, your home, your parents, grandparents' home, lived there for decades, being taken away from you against your will to build a settlement, surely you'd be angry about that. Surely you'd see that as an injustice. Do you ever put yourself in their position and see that point of view?
Beyond the endless bunch of lies that you've just stated, I would just say that most of the Arab Muslim world can only envy the status of the Palestinians and the Israeli Arabs. It's
I wasn't talking about Israeli Arabs. I was talking about Palestinians in the West
Muslim
Bank.
World.
Can you put yourself in the position of a Palestinian in the West Bank who has his home taken from him? Just a simple question. No politics aside, religion aside, as a human being, can you see how would make you feel if you had been born a Palestinian in a village in the West Bank and lost your home? It's a very simple question.
So give me, I challenge you now and after the program, give me the name of one Palestinian who was living in a home and had his home taken away from him.
Naftali Bennett, no doubt falling on deaf ears, but at least trying to ensure that the record is clear. Israel is not a criminal here. And of course, Netanyahu and Turnbull have come to agree very principally that Israel's being treated so badly by many communities across the world. It's great to see that Australia isn't one of them.
I want to thank Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull for the extraordinary welcome that he and his wife Lucy have shown Sarah and me and our entire delegation. There is no better friend for the State of Israel.
Hold on, that line does sound a little familiar.
And there is no greater supporter of the Jewish people and the Jewish state than President Donald Trump. I think we should put that to rest.
Bibi is, at the end of the day, a great politician, and there are many different ways of pretty much describing the same thing.
When I color the map, I color Australia in the same color as the United States. It's a partnership based on common values. It is true that the map of Israel's relations in the world is expanding rapidly. We have, I'm going next month to China. We're celebrating 25 years of resumed relations. China is negotiating with us at their suggestion, after many years that we asked them to do so, a free trade agreement. Mr. Modi is coming to Israel from India later this year. Prime Minister Abiy visited Israel, I visited Japan, and we just signed a protection of investment agreement, something that was necessary for Japanese investors. We have almost...
So it would seem the Prime Minister of Israel and his wife and all of his delegations had a fantastic time here in Australia. They've met with business leaders and politicians. They've signed accords. We're going to fly together as well as make money together through innovation in Israel. And certainly it seems that a very small country in the Middle East is making a very big noise in the business world, which will have significant impacts on political outcomes. And I don't think for one moment that that's going to happen if we don't strive towards peaceful outcomes, but we have to be realistic about how they are achieved. Unlike the story of Purim, which we're going to go out with today, well, perhaps not the story itself, because that's going to take a little bit longer to tell, but certainly the party that follows each year. And it's true in Israel, they certainly know how to party the best. Until next time.